For better living, are you feeling good tonight? This thing got me thinking of life.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for this tutorial, you're going to be needing your shining jam. You're also going to be needing your thread rack to hang your hair. This makes your process faster and just makes you more organized. You're also going to be needing some pre-stretch braiding hair. I like to use EZ Braids. I think I used about maybe 4 or 5, as well as 1 pack of the freetress dip twist hair. And you'll also be needing your super glue. I like to use Gorilla Glue and because it works really well. So these are the major products you probably would have to go out and buy. Everything else, like your hands or a pair of scissors, you could probably find at home. So as you can see, I'm starting this tutorial off by hanging the hair on the thread rack, just to kind of have everything laid out and make the process a little bit faster for me. It just makes it, it just cuts down on your time of having to go back and forth if you have everything already hung out. Typically I like to do this step before my clients come, but I was kind of a little bit, slacking, so I had to do them when she arrived. So first thing I like to do is create my little boxes. As you can see, I've already done the horizontal line. Now I'm just going into that horizontal line and cutting it into some vertical lines to create the little boxes, as you can see, making sure that they line up perfectly behind the braids at the bottom, like in the window formation, to create the bricklay style box braids. So next thing we're going to be using is the shining jam, and I love shining jam. Oh, that's a tongue twister. I love shining jam because it adds like moisture, as well as makes gripping easy, and it also conditions the hair. This is the extra hold, and I just apply that around the base of the hair, just smoothing it and make sure it gets in between, using my fingers to massage it into the hair. And then I'm going to be taking my EZ braids. This is the shortest length for the EZ braid pre-stretch hair, because we're doing the goddess box braid and I don't want the braids itself to be long, so you just want to get the shortest hair you can possibly find in this brand or other brands that you prefer. And then I just take a little bit of the hair and create the crisscross motion to create 3 strands, and then I proceed on to doing the 3-strand braids. And this is just the same way that you would do any regular box braids when you're starting it. And then when you've braided past the client's natural hair, that's when you begin to add the the freetress hair. So I like to personally braid the hair first, and then I go in and then start to add the curly pieces, because I think it's faster that way. The first time I did this goddess locks, it took me about, I think, probably 5 to 6 hours, and now that I do them, it takes me about 4 hours or 4 hours 30 minutes. Now I'm taking my freetress dip twist hair in the color 1B. You can use any length because you're still gonna cut it, so it doesn't matter. So just use the shortest length you can possibly find. So it doesn't really matter when you add the curly hair. It just depends on how you want your goddess hair to look. So I'm just going to take the curly hair and place it right in between those two braids, and then I'm just going to continue to braid like nothing happened. Okay, just on those two furthest braids on your left, that's where you insert the curly hair. Now in order to know where you stop, you always want to braid past the client's natural hair. As you can see, the textured hair that you see with the braids are the client's natural hair, so you want to braid far down as possible. She does have long hair, so I had to braid down a little bit normally than I would, typically go, because you don't want her natural hair just hanging. So you want to braid past it completely before you start tying the knots and adding the glue to secure it and all that good stuff. So you want to make sure you have passed her hair entirely before you stop. Now some people like their goddess locks to not look so like choppy and unison. Like, I'll give you an example. This client in particular wanted her goddess box braids to kind of flow and not have like braids and then all of a sudden, hair, whatever. So you just kind of have to gauge it and not make all the braids stop and start at the same point. But anyways, taking my Gorilla Super Glue, I'm going to be tying a knot and securing it with the glue, which I'm going to show you guys right now in slow motion. So I'm just taking a little piece of straight hair, and then I would just be tying it around just to create a knot. Now before you pull and secure the knot, you want to go ahead and take just a little bit of that super glue that I just showed you guys earlier, and just place a very, 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 very tiny dot right where the knot is going to be created, and then you're just going to pull and the hair is going to be locked in place and secure. And you're going to repeat that same process all through until your hair is completely done. And like I was saying earlier, if you want your braids to kind of flow, your goddess box braids to flow, to where like it's not all like braids and then all of a sudden like curly hair, you what you have to do is make sure that when you're adding or when you tie your knots, you want to make it uneven for each individual braids, and just kind of keep an eye on making sure that you're not doing everything so unison. As in, by everything I mean whenever you tie your knots, make sure that the length aren't the same on every single braid, so that way the curly hair can kind of flow from different points of the hair, so that way it kind of has the illusion of like that goddessy look, if that makes sense, and not like chop. You get what I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm just gonna let you guys watch and just kind of follow along, and I'll catch you guys a little bit later. So when you're done, you want to take a pair of scissors and cut off those straight hair that you see at the base, because it kind of messes up the aesthetic. So just take your time, go over each individual braids. I tend to wait a little bit so the glue can cool off before I start cutting the hair, because you don't want it to mess up your scissors. So take a pair of scissors that you really don't care for this section, because if you kind of cut the glue off with this with like a really good pair of shears, you may mess it up. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just take an old pair of scissors and do the job. But yeah, just take your time and go over every individual braids and until all straight hair has been removed and it's just the curly hair left. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is also take a pair of scissors and cut off all the stray hairs that you may see hanging loose on the braids itself, not the curly hair. We're not going to be cutting that just yet, just the braids. You just want to go over everything, making sure that the braids are really, really neat, because we're not going to be using hot water to set the hair. So you want to make sure that your braids appear to be as neat as you possibly can, because when you dip the hair in hot water, it tends to relax the the flyaways. So since we're not going to be doing that, you really have to make sure and take the time to cut off any stray hairs that you may possibly have. Okay, so you want to go to the curly hair and then just cut off any stray hairs that you may see. trying to layer it, you don't want it to look so like uneven, so you want it to flow. So as you see, I'm kind of like cutting downwards and not cutting like in a straight line, just to make sure that all the pieces are not so like even, if that makes sense. So you're just layering it and making sure that there's no like uneven strands at the bottom. Okay, and then if the hair tangles up on you, go over it with some mousse in the morning, but you should be typically good with this hair. So what I like to do to the top is dip my towel in hot water and then go over the top just to secure like any stray hairs. Remember, you can't dip this hair in hot water, so you don't want to get the hot water at the hair at the bottom. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. But anyway, so she brought some accessories, so we're just going to be applying that onto the hair, the gold strings, and yeah. So this is a fun step where you get to personalize your hairstyle and make it you. So just have fun with it. Whatever hair you think hair piece or hair jewelry that you think is gonna look good, go ahead and apply that on there. If you want those gold clippers, if you want the strings in silver, gold, white, whatever you want, go ahead and apply that on there. There's no right or wrong. I think the more accessories you have, sometimes the better, especially with goddess locks, because it just goes with the vibe. But anyways, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you like and share and comment and all that good stuff. And let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will catch you guys on my next video. Have a merry day and God bless.